Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So the new champions have been revealed. Still nothing from Kabam about the Spider-Woman situation, but nonetheless, here's the funny thing. Before I go any further, no, the new champions are Dracula and Franken Castle. How do you guys think whether Dracula, as a Mystic champion, will end up having a Wade or something akin to that in his kit, and he has plenty of defensive prowess? I don't know, just a wild suspicion in there. But either way, Dracula and Franken Castle bring chaos to the contest. What darkness and vengeance when they unleash? We do have the gameplay. We're gonna go over it slowly, break down some stuff there, but we did see a 50k crit there. Here we can see Dracula smacking opponent with a whole bunch of bats, and here we can see what Spider-Woman thinks about that. But let's take a look at the Franken Castle again. So there was 50k crit. Now we have some bleeds and a whole bunch of other stuff. Right. Anyways, a little bit back to this. I think very appropriate. Don't know how did that get in there, I guess. Let's take a look at Dracula. We can see fear passive on the opponent, which kind of makes sense. Again, the thing that deals with the miss and the unblockable. There are passive bleeds, and he seems to be all about passives that at the very least, on the opponent's side. Seems to be some sort of weird degen icon, as well as slow passive or deaccelerate and the passive bleeds. On his own side, seemingly has access to some form of regeneration and a fury buff. As you can see here, fury is triggered, regeneration is triggered on the left side. On the right side, we have degeneration nullified, so he will have some form of nullify. However, given the fact that apologize, given the fact that energize is still active, I don't think it's going to be the most comprehensive nullify, or maybe it's just ill-timed shot there. But in all of this clip there was the energize, so I don't think he's going to have massive nullification abilities. But what is that dire something? The letters there of dire something. Not entirely sure about that. But hey, at the very least, he definitely looks cool, and I know a ton of people have been expecting him and waiting for him, and he's going to be the newest Mystic in the game. And as long as the mechanics are not stupid, I am one of those people that will come out and openly say that Mystic class kind of needs something that's defensively capable as well, because most of the Mystic champions that are currently popular, with the exception of Nico Minoru, are about exclusively offensive champions. Kindred is making a strong comeback as a Mystic defender, but if you look at it, Shatra, Kushala, Tigra, I don't know who else is getting used in the Mystic class, Diablo, Spiral, and whatnot, they are all offensive champions, primarily. Chavez and whatnot. So Mystic class not doing too hot on defenders, so this would be one of those cases where I can absolutely see, defender being justified as well. Then we have Franken Castle. What do we see of Franken Castle is Berserk, so that is likely going to be his damage mode. You can also see passive Crush, which means he's a counter to auto block, as well as some small incinerates. I don't think those are significant at all when a 50 KPI champion is dealing 182, and those incinerates are ticking for 180. 182. I don't think that's going to be a meaningful source of damage. But we can see him putting a debuff on himself as well and benefiting from willpower heal from it. It doesn't look like it's a hindered willpower heal, so that could be a very useful method of sustaining himself with combination of Unstoppable. So that immediately, that Unstoppable and Crush also is kind of making me believe that that could be a defensive champion, or at the very least strong defensive kit within the champion. As again, we do have Crush, we do have Unstoppable, seemingly. It's going to be interesting to see what exactly happens there. Right, so let's take a look at the video again one more time. Is there anything that we missed so far? Not much, I would say. But there we are. Based on the comic books, I think most of you are at the very least vaguely familiar with the idea of Dracula. And MCOC Dracula, MCU Marvel Dracula is based on the original myths about Dracula. It's basically the same guy in the Marvel universe. You will obey me in all things. You have no choice, for I am the Lord of Vampires. Forget your former life. You belong to my nation now. Sounds like something Dracula would say. And his strengths actually, well, decently jacked. There's a ton of description for him, but intelligence 3, and the push sword is fairly dumb. Strength 3 to 4, speed 2 to 3, durability can be up to 6, energy projection up to 6, and fighting skills 4. So obviously vampirism, superhuman strength, speed, durability, stamina, agility, reflexes, regeneration, immortality, of course, shape alteration. He turned into bats, rats, and wolf, and the mist. Atmokinesis, all the elements of weather, fair enough. Blood manipulation, hypnosis, makes sense. Mind control makes sense. Does that smell like reverse controls, maybe? I don't know. Magic, very powerful sorcerer. Necromancy, makes sense. Dracula can accomplish swordsman and the magician. Gifted intellect, it's 3. Okay, fine. And typical vampire weakness. So that is going to be your Dracula for most part. Kind of cool. No issue there. Franken Castle, I think a bit more unexpected pull, especially considering that, from what I could gather, not being a comic expert, Franken Castle did have his comic run in like 2010, and it got ended out quite shortly, so it didn't quite catch on. Looks kind of cool, of course he does, but I think quite a few people were expecting or hoping for Lizard to be added. But hey, skill class does need some help as well, in my opinion. And hopefully, he's a solid addition to the skill class. There's not too much in terms of his ability or power description that I could find. Perhaps some of you can fill me in on that. But those are the champions for the month of October. So, do not forget, hit that like button, hit that sub button, all the good buttons. And most importantly, the bomb sucks. See you soon. Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about